than anyone else. They are my mom, my determined single mom who raised 2 strong daughters on her own. She's actually here tonight, so pardon me. Hi, Mom. And then my sister, my special needs sister. Stubborn as a mule, sensitive as a child, the kindest person you'd ever meet. These women and what they experienced in life made them some of the most resilient people that you'd ever know. And knowing them has shaped the best parts of my career. You know, I used to think that I had to compartmentalize life and career, that my background had nothing to do with my job. But I now realize that by using what I learned growing up, I'm better at my job and what I do. This is where the powerful principle of yes and comes into play. All right, so who in here has been to a really good improv show? Right? Yeah, so you guys know the secret of yes and. It's how we move the story forward in improv, often with delightful, laugh-out-loud results. I don't want you laughing at your career, but when it comes to our careers, we can all bring a little improv in. We must first choose to say yes to the roles that we've selected before we add our personal ands. And moments in our careers often look like our work. They coincide with our job. However, they're fueled by what we're passionate about. Let me tell you about one of my first significant career and moments. Early on, when I started out in PR, I worked for a fintech company, and I was given the opportunity to go out into the community and speak to groups about financial responsibility. So this could have been like speaking to a group of foster children about credit who were about to age out of the system. Now, this was a significant time investment, and it was on top of my day job, but I had to do it. It resonated so deeply with me because of what I'd seen growing up. Now, I wasn't a foster child, but I sure could have used some sound financial advice. In fact, when I applied for my very first credit card, the person giving me the worst advice in the world was the person I trusted the most, my mom. So very early, I saw how living on a single parent income, medical bills, and the lack of a strong, solid financial foundation made her life, and subsequently our lives, harder. So when I spoke to people, I could relate to where they were. It wasn't like I was giving out information. I was helping them improve their lives. And you'd better believe that my mom and I had more than a few conversations. She's doing just fine now. Fast forward to my current career at Instructure. I'm on the communications team, and I learned early on in my job that part of our role was to participate in the company's Diversity and Inclusion Council. I count myself lucky to work for an organization that is so committed to making work an awesome place for everyone. And after just a few short months, I was invited to head up the council, and I dove right in. Let me tell you why this role means so much to me. My sister Debbie was born with Turner syndrome. It's a rare genetic condition that, combined with a few other health issues, made her more vulnerable than most. In life, she was obviously different, and so she was sometimes excluded or ignored. But she was also loved and protected deeply by her family and close network of friends. Unfortunately, though, she did suffer at the hands of bullies, and in fact, in her elementary school days, this was allowed. I'll never forget one of my first memories, the after-school pickup line. Sitting in the back of the car, looking out the window, I saw my sister. And then I saw my sister getting shoved back and forth between 2 kids while they called her names, as a teacher looked on and did nothing. This profoundly affected me as a child, and as soon as we were in school together, Debbie had me as her scrappy protector, diving into it with bullies twice my size. Often the anger I felt would scare them and they'd back away. This continued through high school, but by then the number of bullies had diminished, thank goodness, and the number of protectors had grown. Debbie passed away last year. But I will forever remember the lesson she taught me. Lessons of inclusion and of being a voice for those who are othered in society. This is why I jumped at the chance to expand the impact of our Diversity and Inclusion Council's role. And before we got started, I knew that we needed to listen. So we talked to our more than 1,400 employees around the world about what was working and where we could improve. You know, when it comes to diversity and inclusion, our work is never done. It's not a problem to be solved or a box to be checked. We are coming together to create the way it should be, a place where all voices are heard and where we have true diversity of thought. I'm proud to say that over the last 2 years, we've grown from supporting women in tech, and I'm so glad we started there, and it's great to see all of you, to broadening our programs for employees and allies from many different backgrounds. You know, when it comes to our careers, our personal lives have such a dramatic influence, whether we realize it or not. There is power in your personal roots. Remember that as you build your career masterpiece. What's your yes and? Thank you.